go. All right, take it away, Candace.
Thank you, Jason. So good morning, everyone, and welcome today. Thank you for joining our Career Month event. And as Jason mentioned, my name is Candace Stewart-Smith, and I'm the Director of the Center for Experiential and Career Education. So at this time, I want to acknowledge that long before Canada was formed, the Stolo, or people of the river, occupied the land on which UFE is located. They lived in the Fraser Valley and Lower Fraser Canyon of British Columbia, and they spoke Halkamalam, also known as the Upper River dialect. UFE recognizes and honors the contribution that Aboriginal people have made and continue to make to our community. UFE supports Indigenous learners and seeks to incorporate Indigenous ways of knowing in the curriculum. As an uninvited guest to Turtle Island through immigration, I respectfully acknowledge that I'm privileged to live and work on stolen lands. As an immigrant, I became increasingly more educated about the impacts of colonization on Indigenous people and the land. I am committed to truth and reconciliation and yearn that my future generations will be in a better place than when I arrived here. Being newer to Stolo territory, I feel blessed to wake up and see the beautiful mountains surrounding this land. I also had the opportunity to be transformed to a time when Samat Hotsa or Sumas Lake was here. The image, and I give photo credits to my colleague Jason Lee, that I chose for my land acknowledgement today comes from a performance I attended by professional puppeteer Tamara Unroe and students from the Abbotsford School of Integrated Arts, where the children's story, Great Grandma's Lake, was told and depicted using giant illuminated puppets. My takeaway from that was the importance of storytelling, ensuring that we don't forget the past and to reflect on how we can do better today and tomorrow. So happy Career Month from the Center for Experiential and Career Education team, or CC. Each November, the importance of accessing meaningful work and all those that help us in connecting with our future careers is celebrated nationwide. Career professionals advance the agenda of improving access to career services and education so that we are better prepared to develop our careers and transition into the workforce. You will learn more about UFE specific Career Month events towards the end of the session today. The CC team is grateful to partner with the Alumni Engagement Office in offering our 2023 Career Month events. Thank you so much. And at this time, I would like to now introduce you to Dr. Amir Shabani from Community Health and Social Innovation. So Dr. Shabani is an assistant professor with the School of Computing at UFE. He is a faculty associate with CHASI, so the Community Health and Social Innovation Hub, where he is directing the Interactive Intelligent Systems and Computing Research. His team is looking at the intersection of artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, Internet of Things, and augmented reality for applications in healthcare, energy, smart building automation, and industrial automation, and education. More specifically, his current projects include personalized machine learning in physiotherapy rehabilitation, social companion robotics, indoor positioning and contact tracing, active aging, augmented collaborative workspace of Industry 5.0, and smart spaces, are all things that I would love to learn more about today. Dr. Shabani completed his PhD in machine learning and computer vision at the University of Waterloo. Prior to his PhD, Dr. Shabani worked in job-sharing international projects in the field of industrial automation and robotics, that's Industry 4.0. During these 6 years, he worked on several multi-million-dollar projects with automation companies from Germany, France, Italy, the UK, and South Korea. In addition to the core academic research and teaching activities, Dr. Shabani is an active consultant and always welcomes industry collaboration and applied research and development projects that require expertise in computing and engineering. So thank you, Dr. Shabani, for starting us off with our first career month, and we look forward to learning from you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Candice, for the nice introduction. Really appreciate the invitation. I'm just trying to make sure that the slides work as they are supposed to. I think, can you see the slides? Excellent. I've chosen the title as Artificial Intelligence Deconstructed, so that I provide some background about what do I mean by AI more specifically, because AI is a very wide area, and dive into some of the activities that we do at UFV under different umbrellas, supported by external grants, internal grants, and hopefully I do a little bit of justice to the field of AI today. When I'm teaching the AI course, this is one of the first slides that I bring it up to explain what do we mean about AI, the science of making machines think like people, act like people, and think rationally, act rationally. That's essentially the overview of what is AI. But the reality is a lot of AI development or advancement is being inspired, but through what we've seen in movies, science fiction movie, from Star Wars to Matrix to the new ones that, you know, aliens are coming, taking over the earth. And it amazed me to the extent that still we are not reached to the point that some of this, science fiction movies shown us. And that's the direction we are moving. If you're wondering what is an AI and what are the different subfields of AI, I think the picture on the left should provide a landscape of what are the different components of AI. We might have heard of a few of them. And today I'm trying to essentially focus on one or two that is related to the research focus that we do at here. The field is quite wide, includes both systems aspects of the technology and the computing aspects of the technology. Systems aspects relates to mainly the hardware, firmware, and computing relates to the algorithm and software piece. There are big components in the field of AI relates to robotics. We've heard about robotics. It's a quite multidisciplinary area. We see it in engineering, we see it in computer science, we see it in social science, the role of robotics in helping communities and individuals, one of the angles of research that we are looking here. And I'm quite sure that to some extent, most of audiences here have heard of large language models like ChatGPT or BART AI from Google. And I think I have a few slides to discuss those new advancements in AI. Machine learning is another main component in AI. If we want to put in perspective about the history of AI, when we start making data-driven decision-making, we see the power of AI. And then we start looking at, rather than, coding or mimicking what an expert think through a machine, let the machine figure it out from the data. Data-driven decision-making, data analytics, all of that essentially made AI more important in business industry. We see chatbots when you go, for example, on a website like Home Depot, and a chatbot, a virtual assistant pops up and asks, hey, my name is Jack, how can I help you? That's another area that you've seen the natural language processing evolving towards natural language understanding. And that evolution by itself is a huge jump in the field of AI. We see smart speakers doing speech processing and speech analytics, the area that we more or less now we see a lot of those home automation gadgets like smart thermostats, smart blinds, smart lights being controlled by these smart speakers per se. So on a daily basis, we may interact with a lot of AI technologies without knowing those technologies. And I hope that today we get through some of those examples and deconstruct the field of AI with the hope that we touch some of the newer advancement and discuss some of the research that we do at the forefront of both theoretical and application of AI. For those who are interested in startups or business, I think investment in AI, that's a direction helps them to better understand what are the core technologies that we are going to see appearing, already or in the next few years. We see a huge investment in autonomous driving, electric cars, and having that autonomous driving puts in perspective the amount of investments that we see in technologies related to the AI, and that's a #1 investment that we see in industry. Robotic process automation, RPA, is something that has been, slowly growing, but the last decade we see a huge jump where you will see that every single one of us, we could have a virtual assistant taking care of a lot of repetitive tasks that we do, archiving, getting the bill digitized and all of those sort of stuff. So companies and industries are investing hugely in RPA. We have cognitive solutions or platforms that where we will see some of the applications of AI in healthcare being manifested, how we can use AI addressing some of the challenges are elders with Alzheimer and dementia or different abilities or essentially neurodiverse people that we have, how we can use AI technology to help those. With the emergence of deep neural networks or deep learning, we see a huge investment in that category of AI technology. And as usual, marketing, it's a big investment in any industry that you look at. Market intelligent platforms, it's another area that we'll see huge investment when it comes to the use of decision-making, advertisement, and database advertisement. Credit fraud detection and prevention on a daily basis. Any credit card company is using AI to figure out those anomalies in the transaction. In terms of computer vision, image recognition, face and emotion recognition, it's another area that you will see, we are seeing a huge investment. That's another area, emotional recognition, that we are doing research here, and it sometimes is referred to that emotion AI as well. Patient records management, again, another application of AI in the healthcare, where we will see disparate systems are being integrated so that we can have a better, more efficient system in place. And biotechnology, I believe everyone knows what happened during the COVID-19 and the role of biotech in addressing those challenges. So I will start with a picture like this because I'm a visual person and I love multimedia. And when we look at this picture as a human, typically what we can understand from the scene, a single image, is that an individual looks like tripped over the steps. We see a glass, we see some chairs. So we try to do some sort of what we call it in computer vision, object recognitions. And then we try to figure out the relationships between these objects. So the whole discipline of computer vision is to empower computers to understand a scene like what we are seeing here and try to decompose different objects, their relationships and type of activities that is going on in the scene. So computer vision is one of those areas that essentially is at the forefront of machine learning, because the complexity of the images and videos makes a lot of algorithms fail. So there should be remedies to address those. Computer vision, machine vision, those sort of technology has been used, significant in industry. I remember when I started working in industry around 2000, we were using computer vision in a robotic glazing station. So in manufacturing, in quality inspection, vision is being used, computer vision is being used. Autonomous cars, they have cameras, lidars, all of those technologies, sensing that we have, they need to be analyzed in order to make sure that the car is moving in the right direction without a collision, avoiding collision. Planes, missiles, robots, drones, another category that we see, cameras and smart cameras and computer vision being used. Space exploration, aid to the blinds, ASL recognition, sign language, American Sign Language recognition, surveillance, security, biometrics. These are a lot of applications that I'm going to go quickly to provide you the state of the art in terms of computer vision and then get into the robotics. In the manufacturing, we see companies like ISRA from Germany and a lot of similar companies doing computer vision, or in that category, it's called machine vision, robot vision, to do automation for different industry. That could be used for quality inspection. It could be used, for example, in this case, for the case of control and manipulation of the parts, scene tracking, a lot of different applications that we'll see cameras and smart cameras being used. In smart cars, autonomous driving, we see computer vision being used. And it's amazing to know that nowadays those mechanical cars are moving towards more of electronics and software-based entity. We will be amazed knowing that there are hundreds of ECUs in any single car, and each one is dedicated to do processing for a specific task. When we go for a shopping, the barcode scanner that we will see is using AI technology. We call it optical character recognition. So license plate recognition, you pass a red light and automatically you receive a ticket in your mail. No human is involved. Everything is automated because the camera takes the photo, sends to a computer vision algorithm that starts looking at the letters and numbers, recognizes the license plates, connects to the database, figure out the address of the owner, and sends the ticket according to the fine per se. Nowadays, we have our cell phone everywhere. Any sort of digital photography that we are doing, to some extent, we are using computer vision, whether it's detecting of faces, focus, defocus, deblurring, whatever type of activity that you're doing when you're capturing a scene, computer vision is involved. Features like whenever the person in the field of view had a smile, the photo should be taken. It's nowadays is a basic functions that we will see. We see in a big chain superstores that you go and you scan your products and you pay and you leave. How they can assure that all of the items that you purchased, you paid for it. So a camera typically is installed and scanning, making sure that the objects that you scan matches the list in your purchase list. These are some of technologies that we will see more often. A very interesting example that I showed to my students when I talk about computer vision is this front page of National Geographic. When we see the face of an Afghan girl being published in 1985, and they wanted to see whether the person on the right is the same person. So the way they managed to do it is through iris recognition. Essentially, every single one of us has a unique pattern of iris, so they can manage to match and verify that's the same person. Nowadays, we see biometrics being used for logging into computers, logging into the systems. And you may wonder, a lot of science fiction movies 20 years ago were proposing such that CSI movies that in order to access to restricted rooms, they had to scan the eyes, fingers, and those sort of things. But we will see the scale of technology and the price of technology reduced to the level that we will see at the consumer level electronics, like a mouse that they are using biometrics for authentication. Object recognition, typical cameras that you pick, a cell phone, you took a photo of a scene and you want to know more about it, connects you to Wikipedia, more information about those. Lots of applications, mobile applications are using. One of my favorite development in the field is related to the Microsoft Kinect, interactive gaming. The technology came to the market around the time that I was doing my PhD. My PhD was around activity recognition, how we can use cameras that looks at people and could tell us what type of activities they are doing, gesture recognition, running, hand waving, those sort of things. That was a breakthrough, let's say, 15 years ago. So, and we will see, you know, the advancement of the theory towards an application that engages people who love gaming, but it's an interactive gaming. You stand in front of a camera and camera knows and does gesture recognition, and you start interacting based on your hand movements or body movements. We see fun applications like DigiMask, when you put your own face on an avatar and you can explore and wander around in the world of AI. We see, you know, computer vision being used in the film industry, motion capture, special effects. All of those technology, to a good extent, are using computer vision and AI technology that is being used extensively. And sometimes public doesn't even know that it's part of the what they are watching in the Matrix, part of the special effects, or part of the analysis that a coach receives when they are, you know, they are involved in a live match. Previously, in the past, we had, you know, supports for the coach that would take a note of, you know, the performance of different players, collecting some stats of what's going on in the video. But nowadays, it's essentially automated. I remember back then when I was doing my PhD, again, I'm revealing my age, around 15 years ago, one of my supervisors was working on such application for basketball, and he managed to solve the application for $5 million. So it's a huge industry when you look at sport video analytics, and a bunch of companies in Canada, in US, and across the globe are investing significantly on video analytics for sports. I think it's obvious to assume such technology is being used for space exploration, because there is no human. We are sending robots and cameras. So we want to do path planning, motion planning, detecting objects, pick and place. All of those robotic aspects requires nowadays a camera, sort of a sensing technology that does for us obstacle detection, position tracking. And the field of robotics is another fascinating field, quite interdisciplinary, quite multidisciplinary. That's where we will see, again, different aspects of AI technology, including computer vision, and robotic itself is being used extensively, being for Mars exploration, being for, you know, RoboCop examples. That leads us to medical imaging. It's established research that I guess it's going on for over a couple of decades. And it started with image analysis. That's where we were trying hard to remove noises, improve the contrast. But when the computer vision, machine learning helped the field, became image analysis. That's where we are trying to identify the tumors, the size of the tumors, some characteristics, optical characteristics of the tumor, and beyond that, 3D imaging, functional MRI that nowadays we see, or image-guided surgery, robots that help surgeons to perform surgery remotely. That's where we will see the advancement of computer vision and robotics in the field of AI. The state of the art when it comes to the 3D modeling is to have a 3D model of the whole Earth or different cities. That's amazing if you consider the resolution that they can provide in terms of the accuracy of the 3D models. There are lots of companies that invest significantly on purely computer vision that surprises a lot of people when it comes to the AI technology development. In the field of robotics, we see moving away from very mechanical arm-based towards more of very dynamic drone planning, motion planning. A lot of advancement that we will see companies like Boston Dynamics that traditionally are mechanical, electromechanical or mechatronics engineer were involved, moving towards more of AI and software development. That's where we will see the combination of different disciplines manifest in a products that is resilient, and it's actually the dynamics of it amaze every one of us that we watch these videos. Applications in defense to quite a diverse application in health that is being explored when it comes to this sort of technology. Then we come around 2022, that's where we will see a new era for AI, which is under the term generative AI, large language models, chat GPT, those sort of things. But I want to take you back and say that we had products or services that we were using generative AI. It was not as glamorous as chat GPT that excites the whole public in terms of content generation, but simply when you go on a your mail service provider and you start typing, you will see that it suggests some words to you. That's a generative AI behind the scene that is doing natural language understanding. That's beyond natural language processing that we were saying. Tries to extract the context, knowing the context, and then provide you sample keywords, towards the content that you are generating. It's a very much human in the loop generative AI. You go on let's say PowerPoint, and you put together a slide. This is a snapshot of a slide that I was putting together, and you get a lot of layout design. So that's, again, is a generative AI behind the scene. The field of architecture has been shaken when we see generative design. That's, again, generative AI. So back then, architects used to do the drawing on a paper, nice, cozy office space, and then we saw the transition in terms of transformation using digital platforms, AutoCAD being the lead, 3D softwares like Revit came, but then we saw building information modeling came to the power, and we around the same time we saw the emerge of generative design. That's where, as a user, I could go, I say that this is the house of my dream. I want to have 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. I could provide a very high level spec of what I want. And the software generates designs for me, and I pick and I modify. So it becomes a human and machine collaborative environment. That's, again, it's a generative AI example. The field of electronics, it's shaking again, because nowadays we have applications like Snap, Magic, Copilot, that they are trying to incorporate all of the advancement in the AI, including large language models, in the circuit design. In the past, we had to take a lot of courses in the circuit design, analog, digital, high frequency circuit design to better understand integrated circuits, to just come up with the basic design for a circuit. But nowadays, with a query like, I want a lower power MCU with 2 SPI ports and analog digital converter and USB port, build me a reference design with all required passive and connect the USB port to USB-C connector. With just 2 lines of text, I get an electrical circuit. And then it takes it to the next level that starts doing optimization. Would you like to do energy optimization or reducing the cost of the material. You will see that generative AI is becoming more of a trend in quite different industry, I would say. And we will see big players, big giant tech players in the field. Microsoft, who has a decent share in ChatGPT, the large language model ChatGPT, introducing Copilot and ecosystem of software packages and applications that you will have access, in terms of generating content. Companies like IBM with their Watson application, they released Watson X, and now they are offering generative AI for businesses. AWS, Amazon, the same, or NVIDIA, which is essentially NVIDIA, which is a IC manufacturer. And graphical processing unit or CPU, they are IC manufacturers, and they are getting into the generative AI. Just imagine we are going from a software now towards more of a hardware. What if we can make a hardware platform that gives us all of those modularity and flexibility? So think about now going down into the hardware level. We've heard Industry 4.0, but we are past Industry 4.0. We are actually Industry 5.0. The revolution in terms of industrial advancement. I don't want to go through all of those revolutions, but Industry 4.0 is still it's in the news. Lots of companies are investing. That's where we will see cyber physical systems. Cyber meaning computing, physical means any physical systems. They are talking to each other, where we will see Internet of Things, Internet of Everythings, networking, and machine learning comes to essentially see how we can essentially benefit from the data of the whole plant. And that's what is referred to industrial Internet of Things or Industry 4.0. But we moved away from Industry 4.0 like 2-3 years ago, something that now we say human and robot collaboration. Imagine a workplace. This is a snapshot from a company, Festo, bionic workplace, they call it. Imagine as a trade person, as someone that is working in a manufacturing plant, I have a colleague that is a robot, and it's watching me and it's learning from me what I'm doing with different parts when I'm assembling or whatever type of activities that I'm doing. So it's learning. A robot that is learning by just watching, not being hard-coded by if and then rules with those gadgets. It's learning the same way as us human is learning, watching and listening. So a day that I'm sick or my wrist is hurting, I can communicate with the robot and ask the robot to help me. That's a collaboration environment, collaborative environment that we are envisioning part of Industry 5.0. That's where we have systems, cognitive systems that are coming towards customization and personalization of the workplace. It's not like I have to do exactly what I'm supposed to do. There is a flexibility because there is a counterpart, a robot that knows exactly the type of activities that I could do and could help me. Depends on my mood, depends on my ability of the day. So just imagine how much improvement and efficiency we are going to get from that collaborative environment, because people are not going to call it a sick, or production line won't stop because just someone is not around or dealing with some issue. We see the emerge of augmented reality, mixed reality being used significantly in industry, not just for monitoring, but also to provide and manipulating, to control. I have a goggle, I go to the shop, assembly shop per se, I'm monitoring the status of different things. I see a report of a situation. I could do right away predictive analysis and fix issues that I'm guessing is going to pop up in a few minutes. So you will see that Industry 5.0 is moving away from just collecting data and analyzing data, is moving towards a human and robot collaborative space. I mentioned robotic process automation. That's I think one of the main areas we will see advancement, and we will see more and more of RPA essentially in our daily life. As someone that is doing admin job, I do a lot of repetitive tasks. What if I have a personal virtual bot, a robot per se, a software that is sitting on my computer, and I tell that virtual assistant what is that repetitive task, and I ask them to help me. That's what RPA is looking at. Essentially, again, we are thinking of a workplace that a human and a software, robot, bot, whatever you would like to call it, they are working collaboratively towards more efficiency in the system. The other thing that I think it's worth mentioning is the distinction between what we call it traditionally artificial intelligence and what the newer term that I think it's worth discussing, augmented intelligence or intelligence augmentation. Traditionally, the field of AI was looking at, focusing on tasks that are repetitive so we can get a better speed and better performance. But we missed some of the elements that humans are good at, like inference, like reasoning, like empathy. A robot having empathy, for a lot of people, this is a wide extension. But what if we can have a human being empowered by technology like an AI for any type of decision making they are doing it? That's the direction that we call it intelligence amplification, intelligence augmentation, cognitive augmentation, machine augmented intelligence, assistive intelligence, and under one umbrella, let's call it augmented intelligence. We are augmenting the intelligence of individuals. In a sense, it's not just augmenting the intelligence of an individual, it's also augmenting the intelligence of a machine. So we need to move away from the mentality that we have machine against human, and we need to think about more of collaborative space that we help each other. So what I'm supposed to do? AI is going fast, so get on board before it's too late. It's better be on board than be late. So in the field of educations, for a long time, we were talking about, teaching our students technical, let's say, hard skill and soft skills communication. As a matter of fact, a newer trend in education is to figure it out what are the smart skills and sharp skills in contrast to hard skills and soft skills. I have a slide next that shows what do I mean by those. These are extension of what we are doing, but adding more into it. If I'm from a social or law discipline or disciplines that is not really tech development, I could still be involved on different aspects of this technology advancement, the ethics of it, the equity, diversity, inclusion aspects of it. And as a designer, as a technology developer, I'm personally looking at those components. I haven't been trained on ethics in AI, but I think part of the program we are offering now, ethics is one of the course. I always encourage my students to take it, because as a technology developer, now I need to essentially expand upon my existing skills towards more something that we call it sharp skill, technical, and also smart skills, so that I'm relevant in the future. Otherwise, I'm going to be irrelevant, whether I like it or not. Being a prof, being a researcher, or being a student, graduate or employee, I'm going to be to some extent irrelevant if I don't change, if I don't go through that experience of life long learning and learn as you go. Privacy, transparency, safety, and security are always concerns when it comes to the advancement of such technologies. but it doesn't have to be if, you know, both parties, that I would say the end users, tech developers, and the governments work together toward something that I would say hybrid approach. We need to have a bottom-up and top-down regulations and laws and policies in place by the government. At the same time, someone that is doing tech development, I need to look at solutions and engineer privacy in my code, engineer transparency and safety and security in my algorithm, how I'm supposed to do. These are different lenses that I need to put on when I'm looking at technology development. So it's not far-fetched to say that we have, you know, augmented intelligence or advancement in the field now being prototyped. Surgical robots that essentially collaborating with the surgeon doing an operation, mind-reading robots or companion robots, my favorite research area here. I've mentioned the smart skills and sharp skills. I think it's been coined recently. I think it's part of the slogan that School of Businesses are marketing towards, but I strongly believe that we need to go towards more adaptability, emotional maturity. As someone that is graduating from a university, I need to be more adaptable to the situation. If I lose my job, what if the newer technology came up, how I'm gonna essentially be relevant? So that again relates to the lifelong learning. Working in a workplace, working with the essentially team, I need to have humility. I need to have sensitivity towards cultural and ethicals. So I need to have that literacy. So a lot of things that necessarily are not part of the hard and soft skills that we were looking at, now becoming more of the needs when we are entering into the job market. So the research that I'm doing here at UFV, if I want to briefly explain, is around applications of computer vision, machine learning, AI in general, and robotics for a specific case here, social companion robot. Social companion robots have shown to have a positive, essentially health outcomes for people that are living by themselves, or people that they don't have a good number of social social connections. So the idea is not to replace the human counterpart. The idea is that what if someone is not around? I could have a companion and I could, chat with them. Think about, you have Alexa, Siri, or Google Assist, and they become your companion. You can, joke with them. You can, have a human-to-human level conversation. Conversational robotics, it is a big thing. At the same time, because these robots are connected to other devices, they can help us in our daily activity. So the type of research that I do here is under the research group of interactive intelligence systems and computing. That's where we are looking at such applications like affective computing, emotional AI, how I can add EQ, emotional intelligence, to a robot. That's the next stage. I'm not talking about IQ, improving the IQ of a robot. I'm talking about other angles of intelligence, emotional angle. Why? Because if a robot is more emotionally sensitive to the conversation, definitely I would like to be engaged more. And that engagement helps the robot to better understand the interactions, better understand the preference of the person. So when the person needs help, when they grow up, they can provide those supports. Think about a digital pet that lives by you and over time learns about your preferences and helps you in your daily life activities. We are at the system level, we are working under the framework of Internet of Robotic Things, where any smart gadgets that you have, it's centralized and they are communicating with each other towards augmenting their own intelligence and the intelligence of the human. So we typically publish our papers in peer-reviewed conferences and journals. You see a snapshot of some of the older colleagues that I had, research students, some of the new ones, and one of my colleagues, Dr. Opiemi Adesina, who recently joined us, looking at software engineering aspects of the work. More specifically, we are currently also focusing on EDI, ethics in algorithm developments per se. I believe I had an interview with McLean's, and there is an article addressing with the title "Robots Will Help Cure Loneliness." If you're interested to learn a little bit more on the side of application of research that I'm doing, I think I encourage you to check McLean's. I had recently an interview with the radio host and Portuguese newspaper. They are coming along as well. The part of the research that I do related to the social companion robots is being supported by TD Bank, and through their fund that goes through Community Health and Social Innovation, Chassis Hub at UFV. I'm the AI researcher in this group, but we have colleagues from social and health sciences doing cutting-edge research, looking at other aspects of loneliness and other innovative ideas. Thank you very much for listening to my long presentation. I'm gonna go and stop.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Amir Shabani, for for your presentation today. I think hoping that everyone has had a better insight towards AI and understanding or having that high level overview of AI being part of our everyday lives. I think that's something that we may not be aware of, but you have the power in your hand with a small smartphone device to everything else that you may come across from on the internet. I just sort of wanted to, we'll be going into sort of a Q&A, and if anyone has any questions, they're more than welcome to leave their question in the chat, or they could also ask by unmuting and asking Dr. Shabani. So if anyone has any questions about that of today's session, anything you're curious about, I think one thing that I'll start off with just to ask you. Sure. So you talked about sort of the smart skills and the sharp skills, and that's something that we will have to encounter in the near future. And so in what way can someone be more adaptable or becoming more acceptant to AI? Could you speak to that?
Yes, let me bring up that slide.
Yeah.
Essentially, the whole point of smart skills is adding those adaptability to your skill set. We are familiar with the soft skills, presentation, communication, being a team player, and all of those components part of it. But it adds to the next layer, being more sensitive to the values of this area, like EDI. That requires literacy on culture and ethics. Be more emotionally empathetic. It's not like improving your IQ and EQ. Now you need to improve your other aspects of intelligence, social intelligence. So when it comes to how we can incorporate AI would be part of the sharp skill, which is the core technical component. The smart skills, if you want to go to a lower layer, you can relate it to the soft skills and sharp skills to the technical skills. AI would be part of something that you need to incorporate on a daily basis, so that you're ready when the AI kicks in your industry, you're better prepared. And that leads to the idea of lifelong learning. A lot of people, they don't, I went through a few simple examples to show people that AI is in our daily life. Like when I'm typing an email, when I'm preparing presentation, any of those, when I'm using a smartwatch, anything, AI is there. So I need to better understand what's going on. So this understanding helps me not only be in charge of the data that they are collecting, giving, accepting those privacy, those sort of stuff, but have that technical literacy. Now we are moving in a direction, I will put it in perspective of teaching. In education for a long time, educators, they were using chalk and blackboard. Then we saw marker and whiteboard. Then we saw digitization, PowerPoint came up. I remember when I was doing undergrad, we had a prof that was resisting to using PowerPoint. He was coming and writing on a blackboard, and we were sitting there for 1.5 and just copying what he was writing on a blackboard. So we need to essentially lower the resistance when it comes to becoming more familiar with the AI. What's going on? Be curious and try to see what are the newer trends of AI that may affect your future job. And that's the best way of looking at. And that maybe requires literacy. Take an online course, that is tailored towards your own discipline. Doesn't have to be very technical. As a matter of fact, I could teach an AI course that doesn't involve any coding per se. And there are courses that are being designed as such. But knowing what is that technology helps us to better prepare ourselves. If I'm a teacher, in that example that I've just mentioned, if I was a teacher that was using a still whiteboard, not PowerPoint, those sort of stuff, and the company, let's say private company, not public, and they want to reduce the number of employees, make it more efficient, they wanted to use the same lecture material, pass it to the sessionals to teach, probably they won't come to me. They would go to a prof that they were using that technology. So there would be a chance that when they wanted to rank and fire people, they would fire me, not the guy who is using technology. I brought up this simple example because everyone nowadays is using computer. What I'm trying to say is that think about digital transformation of your job, your career, what it would look like, not just computerizing your job, digital transformation, which is a totally different lens that if you put, you would see the benefit of that transformation. It's not just getting rid of the job, but we will see RPA is actually a good example of type of AI technology, robotic process automation. How many admin positions we have at the organization? At some point, they're going to drop a few people. They're going to bring RPA and ask a few of those current employees to learn RPA and reduce the number of admin job. We've seen these trends in law. None of the disciplines is essentially immune to that. We had paralegals going through books of different court cases, summarizing that for lawyers when they go to the court. But now everything is being digitized. It's a simple search, summarizes and gives it to you. Think about that. That becomes part of the computerization. But then we have a digital transformation when this large language model kicks in, and now they are preparing your court, sentiment to go and defend someone. So as a lawyer, if I resist that, it's going to be a time that I'm going to lose, my customers, because I cannot scale up. I cannot provide the service, in a timely fashion, because when I'm busy on one case, my resources is limited. We need to use AI tools in our advantage. Again, I'm bring it to the point that it should be human-centered AI, where we will see collaboration between AI and human in doing different tasks.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your insight on human-centered AI and understanding that we really need to have that digital transformation into our daily work. So thank you for sharing that. Did anyone have any questions with us today? I definitely have tons of questions. So I'll just go ahead with another question. This has been curious for me, especially as a career education coordinator here at the Center for Experiential and Career Education. One thing that I face now is sort of when I work with students, with job search, right? And one of the things that I've been seeing is not everyone has been using generative AI, such as ChatGPT, to help them write, their resumes or their cover letters. So when we reach that point where now we're seeing more and more students being more aware of AI and the tools that are offered, how can you ensure there's authenticity to the voices for job seekers when they're out there in the job market?
I think, again, depends on which lens you're putting on. You could come with two school of thought, just deny using the tool to have pure authenticity. But I would argue that that's not going to work out and that's not going to be sustainable because the tool is out there, is tempting, and people see the result of using the tools to get the job and be happy. So if I resist using the tool, I'm going to be the loser. But there is another school of thought that they say is that, okay, I want to keep the authenticity in place, at the same time be able to use the tool. So it's the same thing. When I'm preparing a PowerPoint, I'm using the tool and it gives me the layout. I'm providing the content. ChatGPT, it is true that can generate content. You could just provide a few keywords in a sentence and provide it. But it's my job to personalize it. ChatGPT cannot personalize every single task that I'm asking them to do. Of course, it's learning, from my queries, those sort of things. But I believe I'm leading towards augmentation, the empathy component, the human element component. If you integrate that into your cover letter, that's where you will see that as an employee, as an employer, I will pick up your cover letter because I realize that it's been AI powered. At the same time, it has the human component. It's a very personalized letter. Of course, you're getting help of the technology. You're not just submitting what's the output of AI. And believe it or not, there are tools that they can scan and figure it out, to good extent, not 100%, to good extent, how much overlap it has from, what large language models are generating. So you don't want to be red flagged by another software piece that your cover letter is 80%, part of plagiarism, cheating, or AI generated content.
Great, yeah, thank you. I've been part of sort of applicant tracking system webinars where they do talk about sort of the advances of now they're being able to, like you said, they're being able to flag application with sort of AI generative tools. So that's interesting. Yeah, we have some questions in the chat, so I'm really glad.
Sure.
So I'll sort of share. Oh, Carla, I see your hands up. You have a question? Oh, no, it's not. It's okay. Sorry about that. So we do have a question. What are your thoughts on privacy concerns with integration of AI into our daily lives?
Excellent question. Essentially, I had 3 interviews, and every single interview that popped up. But I will take it to one step back to address privacy. When it comes to privacy, we need to think about the type of data that is being collected and how it's being collected, how it's been maintained, how it's been processed, how it's been analyzed, and what is the output. When it comes to, for example, computer vision and videos, we have policies in place like identifying the faces and obfuscating faces. Face obfuscation is established, algorithms in computer vision. When it comes to the speech, you could do the same. So privacy is a big concern. However, it should not be the determinant factor of technology adoption. It should be part of the requirements of the technology that the companies are offering. So I want to put it this way to address how we can then be assured that the companies are addressing the privacy. I'm using Google Assist and is listening 24 hours in our living room, and then I see an ad pop up on my Facebook page. Where is my privacy? It's being violated. Why it was listening? I was not using the system. How we can assure the privacy happening? I think that's the direction we need to take. And that leads to the idea that I've mentioned. We need to have a bottom-up and top-down approach. As a professional engineer, when I get that PhD title, the license, I need to write ethics and law exams. It's not a technical exam, it's an ethics and law exam. So I need to study different court cases related to the engineering, field of engineering that I'm practicing. And I need to be, know the ethics around the practice. So when there is an entity that gives that license, when I go to and work for a company, I'm protected by that entity from being fired if I report the activity that I'm doing for that company violates privacy and is not in public interest. I give you an example. A civil engineer that is doing bridge design, if that person is working for a company and is a PhD, professional engineer, and the company, the boss, whoever is in charge, the manager comes and says that, okay, cut this corner, those sort of things, so that we, have a more costly projects and we win the projects, those sort of things. As an engineer that is doing that job, I can report that to Professional Engineer Association, and I'm protected by that association. The past that I see by the call, from US President and all officials and leaders in AI is that we need to go towards that associations like that for computing, so that we have ethics and law being practiced by developers. And if a developer is a whistleblower, their job is protected by that association, which is a self-governed association. It's not government influenced or any other party's influenced. So that's a bottom up. As someone that is developing the technology, I can assure that the privacy in place when I'm doing any type of coding, and I'm doing computer vision, speech, or whatever it is, I can assure that the privacy is addressed. At the same time, the government sets the rules and policies and regulations that the companies are forced to do that. That's the only way we will see that privacy will be addressed. It's a big concern. And believe it or not, currently, giant tech companies, they are claiming that they are addressing, but why they are listening to me 24 hours and I see, an ad popping up on my Facebook. So it means that it's not to the extent that I was expecting, and it's not transparent. That's the next item in AI, transparency. That's something that I think it's part of the, I guess, there is always, when it comes to technology, we will see this overshoot and undershoot until we get to the steady state. And I think we are going to get there.
Great, thank you. Thank you for your response to that question. I was sort of processing the next question for you here. So Tanvir, thank you for your question. It's pretty long, so I was trying to digest that. So I'll read this out loud for everyone. You mentioned the importance of using AI to obtain smart skills that are valuable in educational and employment settings, especially in the current state of the modern world. What are your thoughts on the best methods and ages to introduce AI technology, system skills, and computing skills? For example, most of the population in the last year or two has learned about utilizing ChatGPT, and this has been hard for professors and teachers to accommodate, resorting to having to buy applications like Turnitin to ensure plagiarism does not occur. But do you think it may be beneficial for them to introduce it earlier and maybe teach students in high school, middle school, or even elementary school to learn how to use AI positively instead of exploiting these resources? And of course, you addressed the government about being more involved about addressing rules and regulations.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a big concern. You're absolutely right, Tanvi, when it comes to the education industry, when it comes to the ChatGPT, those sort of things. I think personally, I take the approach that I allow students to use it. They will let me know, of course, part of the citation. I add another activity that I think will address to some extent the concern. As an educator, my ultimate goal is to make sure that the student understands that topic, that concept. That's it. Whether they got help from 10 people and that, or another peer, and that peer happened to be that virtual chatbot, ChatGPT, I'm okay with that. So what I ask my student to do is that to record a video, 3 to 5 minutes video of their assignments, the activities, and everything, and they are supposed to explain that. That's where the learning happens. Do I care that they got all the information from ChatGPT or half of the information from ChatGPT or private tutor, those sort of stuff? Of course I care. So that's where it comes to the design of the question. And I went to a class and I show an example of, a problem solving type of question to a student. I said, okay, this is the question. I gave it to ChatGPT. Let's look at the result. And it would, on the surface, someone that doesn't know the concept of that topic, very technical, lots of equations and solve, reach to answer, summarize, very nice submission, but it was garbage. And I showed to the students that doesn't mean that whatever you get out of ChatGPT is meaningful and it's relevant. This is garbage. And there are examples, a lot of examples that ChatGPT, what it's producing is not relevant. So we need to change the lens. Yes, we need to introduce it even at the high school level or lower level. We need to equip our students with these tools at the same time that we teach them ethics. This is the important part. If I use a tool and I cite that and I say to what extent I'm using the tool and my submission is being improved by that, this is, I think, the way we need to think. I give you another example. I ask a group of students to write a research proposal for their projects. And 2 weeks after that, I ask them, okay, now is the time you go on ChatGPT, try to provide up to 50% of the content in your research proposal and get the output of ChatGPT, and then fuse what you wrote 2 weeks ago with the output of ChatGPT, 50% content, and then put together a new version of it. Why I mentioned 50%? Because typically, if I don't do the assignment and I know the general area, field of area, when I go and ask for help, I won't know 100% of the content. I know, roughly half of that. So that was the idea of, because you've done the assignment yourself, you know very well what you want to do, but let's assume that before doing that assignment, you were going to your virtual assistant ChatGPT and with asking ChatGPT. And then now let's go towards that idea of augmented intelligence augmentation, why we need to deny it, why we shouldn't use it to our benefit. So machine has, some features that we don't have. So let's put them together. I hope that I answered the question, Tanvir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you again for your response, Dr. Shabani. Yeah, that's something that I recently attended TEDx Abbotsford this past Friday, and one of the things that one of the AI researcher that was there, Aaron Hunter from BCIT, and he talked about that generative AI is pretty much hallucination, right? It's hallucinating. It's coming up with information that may not be of actual reasonable sources. So, asking ChatGPT to write an essay and coming up with a bibliography or citations, and they look real, but once you look it up, they're not true. So, so that's something that's been quite interesting to see.
Yep.
So the next question. Thank you, Tony, for asking. How does one look into how the algorithms are programmed, especially for information searching and research, to ensure that bias is not being accidentally inputted?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I'm not sure to what aspect of bias you're referring to, but bias in any machine learning, let's say algorithm development, is a challenge. Bias, for example, I give you an example to make it clear what do I mean. Let's say face recognition. So the way this machine learning works is that you have a bunch of samples, you feed it to machine scans, learns the features, distinctive features, and then try to classify. Let's say this is the face of this person, that person, those sort of stuff. If the data that you feed to the machine is imbalanced and biased, the learning is biased. What do I mean by that? If I have a data set that faces are all Caucasians, the machine is going to be biased towards, learning faces that are more skewed towards Caucasians, not other races. Age. One of the challenges we were facing in our research was we were working on emotional recognition, emotional AI, a lot of publicly available data sets, and we were interested in senior groups, age 60, 65 and above. And a lot of data sets, they did not have, honestly, samples of data of that age group. So how on earth I could learn a machine learning, let's say, engine and deploy it for emotional recognition of seniors? It wouldn't work. It wouldn't give me the accuracy that I have. Age is another concern. Race, age, gender. These are very basic examples of bias that we will see in the machine learning, more specifically, algorithm. How we can assure that the bias is not being accidentally part of the input is just to go through a rigorous, search, making sure that everything is a balanced, let's say, data set. So do you think that the Google search is it a biased search? Absolutely, it's a biased search. It looks at corpus of the data, but at the end of the day, it's gives you a set of specific ones. It's a bias towards whom? That's a question. You need to think about who benefits business wise from that component.
Yeah, I'm always reminded of sort of when we talk about data, it's the quality of that data, like you said. It's if it's garbage in, then garbage is out,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So the next question we have, hi, Dr. Amir, thanks for the presentation. You mentioned all the advantages of AI, but a lot of people these days are worried about AI taking jobs. I used to work as a robot controller, and I saw that we eliminated 2 entire departments in my previous company. Do you think that's going to happen in the near future? Will many people end up jobless? And I asked for clarifications on which 2 departments, and there were 2 bank processes, such as process for the operations of, I believe, credit card, process for payment, and they have become more automated.
Yes. So I think this is inevitable because whether we like it or not, capitalism drives the business, and in a capitalist economy, business value comes, based on what they can make out of the employees and products. So RPA is something that we see is going to affect every single one of us. Every single one of us, no matter which business or practice we are involved, RPA, robotic process automation, is going to affect us. And we need to change the perspective. That's why I say that we need to be on that journey of lifelong learning. We need to equip ourselves so that we can be adaptable. So COVID-19 showed us that some of the people lost job, and after the COVID, they couldn't secure similar jobs because a lot of went online, remote, those sort of things. So that adaptability is part of a smart skills. So we need to learn skills that we are not going to be, we need to change that mentality of, career as being 30 years, something that I learn at the school and I land a job and I work for a company or another company for a long time. So I think the lifespan of jobs are going to be reduced, and those who can actually equip themselves with these skills, they can be promoted to the next level. And unfortunately, it is the case that some people, learning is hard for them, changing is hard for them, flexibility and adaptability is hard for them, and they're going to lose or go lower in their career path.
And yeah, does anyone have any other questions? I hope that answers your question. I believe it's Bakrit. Anyone else? I think one, as we're sort of almost wrapping up closer to the end, oh, we do have one more question. If I am interested in working in AI or DS in the future, what threshold does it require? How should I prepare my study plan and career plan?
So what's your background? Which essentially program you're studying?
CIS.
Oh, okay. Okay, computing. So one of the main streams in computing is, of course, AI. So you need to take courses in that stream, per se, concentration. But that's just a basic. What we are offering at the undergrad level, part of AI, robotic, computer vision, name it, machine learning, is the basic level. It gives you the foundation, but you should not stop there. Again, I'm saying we need to be on that lifelong journey. As soon as you identify the industry that is of your interest, you need to look at the job requirements from that industry and try to see what are other skill sets that you haven't learned in class. You go and learn it. Another way, I think, that I highly encourage students to be involved is around being more active in terms of research projects. Really, that's the aspect that I think a lot of students are overlooking. They think that they need to ace their GPA and then they finish their program and the job is ready. This is your job, 100K, and Sid, please do it for us. No, that's not going to work out that way. You need to have an edge. Just put in perspective how many computing students are graduating every single year from how many universities across the globe, or Canada, or regionally, whatever is your focus. So you will see that there are a lot of people. So GPA is just one factor. Lots of employers, actually, they don't really necessarily care that much about your GPA. They are looking at the skill sets that you're bringing on board. How you can show that you have the skill set that they require. First of all, you need to know what type of skill sets they require. That means being proactive in your job search. 2 years before graduation, you need to trace ahead and go find out which companies, which type of job you're interested, look at the required skills, and get involved with the faculty that is doing research in that area and build up that portfolio. You will be involved in an R&D project that you're gonna use some of the learning in your classroom, elevate that under the supervision of an expert, and deploy it. And you have a publication, for example, as a proof. You can create a multimedia video, publicize your work. A lot of active publicity that you need to do, aside from the technical basic knowledge that you're gaining in your classroom.
Yeah, that's something I've always shared with students when I'm working with them one-on-one in their job searches. Is like you said, Amir, it's about sort of looking at those job description, job requirements, and seeing what you need, right? So
Yeah.
upskilling.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I think this might be our sort of last question for today. Do you believe that companies are transitioning or will transition to offer AI as an assistant to improve employees' productivity rather than replacing the employee so that it does not lead to millions of people losing their jobs?
Of course, RPA, I think that refers mainly to the RPA category. RPA is being deployed on a daily basis. Companies are coming, in different stages. We are going to have, as a result of RPA, more productivity. And at some point, I guess companies, if they have to, downsize, RPA could be a tool that enables them to do so. Again, I'm just I want everyone to go one step back. Rather than being worried about losing a job, think about how you can equip yourself with the skill sets that you can move to the next step if this transition happens. Of course, we are going to have, some job or some people losing their job. I'm repeating yourself. That's inevitable. It happens all the time. from industry 1.0 to 2.0, 3.0, whenever you look at it, we have this situation that's inevitable. That's going to happen whether we like it or not. But people who equip themselves with the skill sets that is required for the next stage, that's the people that they're going to have a better career in the long run. I hope I answered to some of the questions.
Yeah, I believe you've answered all of them today. I think we still have a bit of time left. Oh, another question. Great. Given your extensive knowledge and experience in AI and its application, what do you think is a major problem that we can solve for universities and be sustainable?
Okay, that's a very difficult question. So if I had the answer, I would be consultant to university, make a lot of money. So I think I will provide you my 2 cents per se. And just keep that in mind that I don't claim in any way that I have expertise in all area and I know the answer. I'm just providing you my 2 cents for the type of questions that I'm getting. Again, I would say anyone, universities or any individuals, entities, everyone. I think we need to put that lens of being proactive, scaling up. We see these trends coming. How I can, reveal as a new person with this set of a skill set so that I will be relevant. Otherwise, we are going to be essentially irrelevant. To put in perspectives, universities are going to change as well, whether we like it or not. Some programs are going to change as well. We've seen it before. I was in Ontario and we see a significant drop in terms of programs that are offered under paralegal by colleges, for example. The simple reason was automation came, digital transformation came, and there wasn't that much demand because lawyers, they didn't need, law firms, they didn't need that many, essentially, practitioners for supporting the lawyers. Now everything became software, those sort of things. I think we are going to see some changes in terms of the program offerings at the university. We are going to see a little bit of more interdisciplinary program. I'm hoping that every single student in social, health, engineering, any program, if they are thinking of being futuristic, be bold enough, take a course in computing. Doesn't have to be the case that you take it, academically. You can take it online. Try to educate yourself. You don't have to be a good programmer or good coder. Understand the concepts and try to use tools. A lot of tools are being designed by companies for social scientists that they don't necessarily has to code. We have the idea of no coding involved in those. So sustainability, it means change, adaptability, and that's part of the smart skills. And I think every single one of us, whether we are an entity, institution, company, or an individual, we need to embrace that to be relevant and sustainable.
So with that being said, I just wanted to thank you, Dr. Amir Shabani, for your insights and your expertise, and again, the overview of AI in our everyday lives. And again, Dr. Amir Shabani is an AI researcher at the Community Health and Social Innovation, that's CHASI. And also I wanted to thank our partners from Alumni Engagement. So we have a bunch of other events coming up, and I would like to share that before we go. I'll just stop the recording now.